Okay, so here we are again. We have this set of trusses complete, but we want to duplicate them. So the easiest way for us to do that is we're going to use the construct here. We're going to create an offset plane. Now, I could choose one of these planes over here to do it off of, and then set it based off of that. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the side of the bridge for that. Okay, so I've selected that side of the bridge. I'm going to turn a little bit so that you can see what I'm doing. And then I am going to come in here and I want this to be 1.5 inches off of the surface of that bridge. And the reason I want to do that is the material I'm making the roadbed out of is 3 inches wide. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. When I mirror this about, it'll be even off of this, and it'll be the quickest way to do that. So the very next thing I'm going to do, I now have a plane to reflect about or mirror about. So I'll do that. I'm going to select this half of the bridge, and I'm going to pull around to make sure that I have all the pieces. Yep, they all turned blue. They've all been selected. So what I'll do now is I'm going to select my mirror plane. I'm going to click this, and now I have two halves of my bridge. They should be exactly symmetrical to each other, so that's not a problem at all. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just creating a new body. I'll click OK. And now I have a good bit of my bridge done. Now I just need to do the parts that connect it and the roadway that is going to sit on it. But I'm finding this plane a little bit distracting, so there's some stuff I can do. I can come in here into construction, and you'll notice that next to all of these there's a little eyeball. If I just click on the eyeball, that plane goes away, and should I ever need it, I can come back in, turn it back on, and use it for more stuff to mirror about or reference to, whatever. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do, I'll rotate this around. I am going to get it down to the bottom side view, and the reason I want to do that is I am going to make some of my next pieces on the bottom. So I'm going to recenter this so that I'm on this edge, and what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll click sketch. Again, I could sketch off of a plane, or I can sketch off of a body with a known position. I have that because we defined everything as we went. So I'm going to select this face. That means that it likes to turn itself around and do weird things. But what I can do now is I can begin to sketch using my rectangle tool. I'm going to zoom in until it snaps to that corner. It did that a while ago, but I wanted you to be able to see. So I can now click on that vertex of that face. I can come down here. Again, I'm not being real precious with where I pick to lay this rectangle. I just kind of want to make sure that it's on certain edges. You can see that it's lined up with both of the faces of that. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to dimension. That means the only thing I really have to dimension on this is going to be its width, right? I want to make sure this is 1/8 of an inch. Again, those are the materials we're using. That's where that number came from. Okay, so I now have a sketch that is 1/8 of an inch by 3¼ inches, I think it would be. Okay, so that's done. I have two choices here. I can choose to use my rectangular pattern here and replicate this several times all the way down. That might be a little cumbersome, or the other thing I can do is I could extrude it and then select once and then just have it replicate that way. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Let's see if we can make that work. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this sketch. Okay. Let's see here. Let's select the body. Now, if you notice, it only selected some of it. It left this little tiny rectangle out. I can use my shift key and highlight that and make it part of it. And now I just want to extrude it 1/8 of an inch. I want to pull it to the side using my shift key and my center wheel. to kind of make sure that it extruded in the right direction, and it went a little crazy because I'm using my mouse pad here. I don't actually have my keyboard here, or my mouse here. So okay, so that looks like that worked. So I can click OK, or I can select new body. I'm going to select new body, right? The reason is I want that to be a distinct and separate piece from this up here in case I need to change anything in the future. I don't want it to be one part. Okay, so now I can click back on the bottom view. I can come in. I can now select, actually, I can go ahead and just select here. My rectangular pattern tool is there. Now, I can make sure my object type is bodies. I can select this one. It's now highlighted what I want it to do. I need to select an axis, so I'm going to choose this outside edge. Okay. Now that's telling me that wants to go the other way, but that's fine. We'll just use negative numbers. So I want to say that I need 6 of these. Okay. And we'll call this 20 inches. Let's see. Oh. Again, these are just numbers I'm kind of pulling out of my head as I go based off of what I'm doing. You guys will have more defined sketches. Oh, you can see that they are slightly off. They don't line up. I would kind of like them to line up, and I need to remember that I have to drill a hole in the center of this bridge, so I probably want to add one more, right? Let's see. So I'm going to give up on having them be exactly symmetrical with the other ones. But what I do want to make sure is that these are relatively even. Let's see. Okay, that did not work the way I wanted, so I'm just going to use my hand tool and I'm going to pull it the best I can. Let's see if I can get in here and see if we can't make it even that way. Okay. So now those should be pretty lined up. Now they'll be lined up. Let's do this. Just remembered I started all the way on the end, so I probably want to finish on the end. Okay, but I've basically placed all those at one time. Oh, I keep goofing this up. That's all right. It's easy to fix. There we go. Okay, there we are. Now I have room in the middle for when I have to drill the hole. So I don't have anything directly impeding that, so that works, and it's all nice and symmetrical, and I've got exactly what I need there. All right, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up, then I'll show you the roadway and the top supports.